Hi, everybody. My name's Mark Hilliard, and I'd like to welcome you to Shawna Riche's Level or Challenge 5 Critique. Oh, baby, are we going to have fun? Um, what have you thought so far, Shawna, in your trip from 1 to 5?
I've learned, so that's good.
Well, that's a good comment. Um, are you going the direction that you want to go so far, or you want to make changes?
I think I am. I got a lot more learning to do, but yeah.
Well, I've got a lot more learning to do too, so we're in the same boat. But I've looked at your images. They're all quite good. I'm very pleased with them. Let me share my desktop with you. And you guys have to tell me if I freeze up, okay?
Okay.
All right. If you would, tell me about this image. What was it
This
that...
is my nephew.
Yeah.
Go ahead, sorry.
What did you envision as you were looking at him, and what were you trying to create?
Just trying to create or show, he's at, I mean, that's his dad, my brother-in-law standing with him. So I was just trying to create a picture of him out at the family farm, which is our farm. And his brother works for us. So I'm just trying to create the whole picture there. This way, Grandpa, Steve's grandpa, who started this farm, and this is his great-grandson. So it'd be a good picture for him also, I thought. I just thinking of all that.
Are we still here?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this is a really good capture. You've created an image with the child looking right at you with those steely, cold eyes. You can't help but wonder what he is thinking. Is he trying to tell you to get the camera out of his face, or is he trying to tell you, he's hungry? It's a real good emotional catch. The exposure is just lovely. Great skin tones. It's very well put together. Now, if you look at this image, if you look at it, can you tell me anything that you think you might be able to change to enhance this or make it slightly better?
Probably his eyes being sharper, and maybe the right-hand corner not being so blown out, maybe. It's so hot.
Okay. His eyes
And like
are
I
very
only
sharp.
use short. Huh?
His eyes are very sharp, so you don't have a
Are
problem
they?
with that. Yes, they are. Yeah, the sky's blown out in the corner, but you know what? There's a lot that you can do with this image to make slight improvements and still keep your original vision of the image.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to point out the bottom of the image first. The first thing I
Yes.
noticed
He's on
is
his
that,
knees, so
yeah, he's gone below the knees.
yeah. Well,
And
he's actually on his knees.
yeah, but as far as the
But
picture
yeah,
is
it looks
concerned, yeah, they're gone.
like.
Um, and is this his father?
Yes.
This is a very good pose, but we've lost him in the image too.
Mhm.
Um, I would say for something like this, if we would go in and choose a slightly different crop, like this, come in a little tighter on his head, come in
Mhm.
tighter on the sides. It'll get rid of this bright spot, and the image has a bit more emotion. We might even be able to come in a little bit more. Let me.
Right. But then I lose the
Look,
tractor.
yeah, I know, but is it a picture of a tractor or is it a picture of the baby?
It's the whole story, or of him being out at the farm,
Yeah, well,
working.
I see what you're saying, and that is a valid thought because it was your initial artistic
Right.
impression of what you wanted to do. If that's the case, well, before we go any further, do you see how we get a better image of the boy here?
Of him. Yeah,
Okay,
definitely.
so that is just a thought.
Mhm.
Okay, now to go the other way, if you want to keep the original farm, we could cut in a little bit like this. Let me get him a little bit more up. Let's come in a little bit more over here. And this is going to still give you the storyline that he's on his farm. He's on the farm, he's in the
Mhm.
field. We lose this area over here that is indeed blown
Right. Mm.
more like this. We'll just get him right on that 1/3 line and put his head
Okay.
in the nodal, the third point, okay?
Okay.
Even this is a slightly more powerful image.
Right.
And
Okay.
it stays within your vision here.
Mhm. You're cut. You're cutting out. Can't hear you. Still not there.
All right.
There you go. You're back.
All right. So anyways, this particular crop stays within your vision of showing him on the farm, but yet
Mhm.
gets rid of one distracting area over here, this blown out sky.
Right. Okay.
Um, and like I said, we have to stay within your artistic intent. Um, but I do have to tell you that this is a way more personal image
Okay.
here,
Okay.
where we keep both hands fully in.
Mhm.
And this shows an activity that's just really cute, and it
Right.
displays him at his best. And if you want to have a story of him being on the farm, you might want to revisit this image when the background isn't so blown out, so you could get the whole thing.
Mhm. Okay.
Sometimes you just have to revisit an image again and again and again till you get the lighting the way you want it for the particular day. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
Um, I really think that this is an amazing capture here. Let me blow out of this. I do see the point of the story here, but I'm wondering if another possible scene might be putting him in the fields, in the corn, or I don't know how high the beans grow. Do they grow pretty high, or are they ground
Yeah.
plants?
They can. They're ground, but they can get pretty high.
Yep. Or have him sit on his father's lap on the tractor seat.
Yeah, I got lots of those too.
Yeah. I think that would tell a much better story in what you were trying to show,
Mhm.
because this is the wrong type of sky for this image. Now, what would have happened if you had gone over here and shot back towards us and put that bright sky behind you?
Right.
Was the sky behind me as I'm looking at this, was it a little bit less bright? I'm
It
thinking,
was right there is like noon, so the sun was right above us
okay,
almost.
okay, so Dad is shading the baby.
Yes.
Okay, yeah,
That
I
was what
think,
I was trying to do.
yeah, I
Is I
think
told him.
for this, that this is a worthy subject, and I do think that you should revisit this.
Mhm.
Um, try and get in a little bit tighter. Try different poses around the farm and see if you can get something where the entire image uh, really jumps in and tells the story without having these burned out spots, okay?
Right. Okay.
I do really like the grass. That's what I'm looking at here. It's grass, right? Okay. So let's jump back here. All right, am I back or am I still fading in and out?
I didn't hear the last part about the grass, but
Yeah, I asked if is that grass that he was sitting in?
yeah,
Okay.
yep, that's just my south yard.
Okay. I'm going to give you a 2 on this image.
Okay.
All right, which is that's a middle of the road. Actually, it's middle high. Only because I think that you have the capability of doing much better, especially with a camera that has a wider dynamic range like the one you now have.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and go on to your next image. Okay. Wow, this the silhouette. Now, is this your daughter?
Yes, it is.
Okay, tell me about this.
We I we just went out one evening and I wanted to shoot some photos of her, and we were in a field of our rye,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a golden hour, so I figured I'd try it out.
Okay. A lovely composition. I wouldn't change a thing on that. The sky behind her head is totally blown, but that's because that's where the sun was.
Mhm.
Um, I like the try, and I especially love the activity. It's like she's looking at these seeds and she's thinking.
Mhm.
That works very well. A minor thing that you could have done to slightly bring this out a little bit more is turn on the flash of your camera and use that in the exposure as well, just to bring out a little bit more detail on her dress and on her face.
Mhm.
It also works as a silhouette. Both ways work, okay? I don't know which you like better, but that is another possibility, you know. And you understand that you can do exposure compensation, right?
Yeah.
You can dial in like plus or minus stops of exposure control. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Um, I'm not so sure that that's necessary here, but you can do the same thing when using a flash. You can dial the flash down so that the flash doesn't take over total control of the lighting. Set the
Right.
flash for -1 EV. So that means the flash is going to provide enough light on her to expose her one stop down from everywhere else in the image.
Okay.
And that will take an image like this. It will no longer be a silhouette, but the color in her face will be there, the
Mhm.
texture and the colors in her dress will be there, and you will be surprised by how much more you like that image.
Okay. Yeah. This is before I had a flash, so I
Okay.
actually finally have one, so now I can play with it.
Okay. Another thing you could have done is you could have walked around to the other side of her. You walked further into the field
Mhm.
and had her turn around and face you so that the sunlight was hitting her
Yes, I have.
on her front.
Yeah, I have probably about 25 photos of that day,
So
and
you
that's
you
one of
work
them.
this scene. Okay.
So, and
But
this is the ones I picked of that session.
okay, like I said, she works very well in silhouette as well.
Mhm.
All right, and I just love her holding the seeds here, and you can't help but wonder what she's thinking, can you?
Right?
Yeah. Wonderful image. I really like it. All of my suggestions were just that. They were suggestions on alternatives,
Mhm.
alternative considerations for composition and lighting.
Okay.
Um, Now that you have a flash, you might want to practice and play with it and changing the exposure on the flash as compared to the camera's exposure, because you can do both, all right?
Okay.
I'm going to give you a 2.5 on this image. This is a lovely image. Um, I am curious, and if you don't mind, I am going to bring up Nix Visa, and
Okay.
I want to see what kind of data is still left in the image for your girl.
Okay.
I am going to start here in her dress, and I'm going to put a control point right here on the white.
Okay.
And there is a slider called shadow adjustments. And I am going to just slightly bring out detail in the white, okay?
Mhm.
Now you notice how it brought the dress out, but it also lightened around her. I'll show you how to fix that again later.
Okay.
I'm going to put another adjustment point on her face, and I'm going to do the very same thing and see if there's enough information in her face that we can bring it out. There's not as much there as there is in the dress. Yeah, we can't do that. So let's put this back around 0. Bring up the shadow adjustment. Yeah, just so we get a minor amount of detail there, okay?
Okay.
And the area that it affected around her, you can just drop another control point. And it will take that area back to where it was without any adjustments, okay? And we're going to move these around so that the sky behind her isn't so dark.
Okay.
All right, bring
Yep.
those back. Let's copy this dress adjustment over here onto her sleeve as well. And we didn't bring a lot back, but we brought back enough to get detail of her.
Mhm.
Okay, now if you add structure, it will also add brightness. See that?
Okay. Yeah.
So that is another thing that you can do along with the shadow adjustments. Just a bit of structure, and then copy it around her dress like this. Or is this a dress or these jammies?
It's a dress.
Okay. Now don't laugh at me.
No, my friend asked the same thing, so they must just look like jammies.
And now I'm going to go under her hair, and I'm going to see what happens if I add structure there. Yeah, it doesn't really do much, does it?
No, not really.
Now let's see if we can tone down the sun a bit. We probably can't. Yeah, that's
I
just
tried it. It looked funny.
yeah, it does. Yeah, there's just nothing we can do with that. But that's okay. Now, do you like? Oh, see how we brightened the plants around her?
Yeah.
Just put a control point here. And these control points, by the way, these are called anchor points. To take the areas that we were around where we were editing back to where they originally were, but yet still leave our edits in place.
Right.
Okay? Um, so this does help a little, but it does not help nearly as much as if you had popped a flash at -1 EV on her at the same time you took the picture.
Right.
This is a great, great image. And just with the addition of the flash at -1 EV would have made her stand out in this field, and it would have made it more of a portrait of her in the field rather than an emotional picture of a silhouette of her in the field.
Okay. Are you there? Hello. Mark?
I'm trying.
There, okay, I'm just making sure.
Okay, as long as you can hear me, I'm still here.
Okay.
Um, okay. Oh my goodness. What a phenomenal image. Tell me about this.
Your screen's froze.
Oh, still?
Yeah, we're still on the silhouette picture of Kaylee.
Oh, all right. I'm going to drop the bandwidth down a bit.
Okay.
See if that'll fix it. You can see me now, right?
Yes, I can.
All right, let me jump back into here again so we can get... See, as soon as I start sending the large screen video, it takes up more bandwidth. Can
Right.
you see the airplane shot now?
Yes, I do.
Oh boy, I love this. Tell me about this.
This is just one of probably 200 shots I took that night. Um, he was in, it's one of our planes. I don't remember if we were spraying or if we were doing cover crop, and that's him in one of the turns with the sun setting that I snapped.
Oh, this is just lovely. There isn't anything on this image that just isn't perfect.
Yay.
I love the silhouette of the airplane, the deep saturated colors of the sun as it's going down, the field. I like the flares that we're getting, the lens flares here. That's what this whole line is, because the sun is shining right into the objective. That can be a very artistic tool. Okay?
I like that.
Oh,
Okay.
I do too. This is one of the better pictures that I've seen that you put forth.
Yay.
You stop the action. I can see the individual propellers. Wow. This is great. What camera did you shoot this on?
This is a Canon Mark D3.
Okay.
And I think it had to have been my 70 to 200 lens. Because normally that's what I shoot the planes with.
All right. Very clean, very clear. I'm going to do, and see, you've even got separation of the flare from the edge of the frame. I think the square crop works very well for this. Your thought process on this is just perfect. And look at the detail in that. Look at the...
Oh, so yeah, those were the booms. We were actually spraying. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, wonderful. I don't see any dust spots. You know, you don't give me anything to work with on this when you generate these perfect images.
Yay.
And that's what this one is. I just love everything about it. And even the flares are very artistically situated. The airplane's in an area so it's not covered by a flare. This is one that you might want to submit to one of the local magazines in your area, magazines that deal with large farms or crop dusting. This would be worthy of a cover on a magazine.
Oh,
and I'm sure you and your husband have farming magazines that come to the house, don't you?
Several, yeah, too many.
Yeah. Get inside that front cover. Get the name, and the address of the editor, and send him a letter with a small print of this. And tell him that it has been suggested that this would make a good cover. And that you have the larger version of it that you can crop for any form factor that he desires. So you have a lot. You have a lot here to work with. Okay.
Okay.
So you could do it with the airplane flying into the cover or flying out of the cover. Anything that editor would want.
Okay.
Absolutely stunning. I can only give you a 3 because that's my highest score, but this deserves way
Yeah.
more than that. Um, this is the type of photography that I'm going to get used to you creating.
Okay. This
All
is what I
right.
like doing.
Yeah, and all you need to do is when you're sitting in front of that camera and you're looking at your subject, think about the composition, think about the lighting, look at the edges of your viewfinder, and police the edges for distracting elements that are poking into the edges.
Mhm.
And before you release that shutter, make these decisions, if you will, recompose or change the exposure, um, change over to a different vantage point on the subject.
Okay.
All right. And I
Mhm.
guarantee you that if you can get yourself in the practice of thinking like that before you release the shutter, every shot you take is going to be like that airplane shot.
Nice. Okay.
You have very great strength in photography. You have the eye, you have the ability to see and visualize ahead of time. Make sure that you don't get lazy and try and get the fast image. Now, I know that's impossible with small kids and airplanes, but the more you practice this, the better you're going to get to the point that it becomes second nature. You pick up the camera, you look at the scene, and you go, oh, God, I got to go over to the other side. And you run over
Mhm.
there. You set the exposure, you set the exposure compensation because you're going to know that you need to have -1 or -2 or +1 or +2.
Mhm.
Okay? And later on, we're going to
Okay.
switch over to spot metering, and we're going to teach you how to use the zone system because it's way faster. And if
Nice.
you learn to do your exposure on the zone system, you're going to get perfect exposure every time you take a picture.
Okay.
Okay?
Wonderful.
Well done, Shawna.
Yay.
It was a great set of images. And trust me, I wouldn't want you to generate all high score images at these low critiques. Otherwise, you're going to have to be the master, and I'll have to learn from you.
Haha. Funny.
All right. Well done. I will get you leveled up. I'm going to stop the
Yay.
broadcast here.